Morning, everybody, and a cup of coffee to you. Beautiful. And so happy to have you here helping to design this solution for time management for everybody. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you what we learned from the research, and in particular, what we learned from the high performers. So you remember we went through and we did research with 25 nationalities and started with video feedback on questions we sent them. And then we did one-to-one interviews and showing concepts and thoughts and getting their feedback on those. So the research was quite deep. And in this video, I'll share with you the sort of top 5 insights I learned from the high performers in that research. So the first one is high performers plan the day before starting it. And most seem to do it the night before. And as you saw in the last video, it's a combination of looking at what have I got in my calendar in terms of appointments, and what's my to-do list for today. They write their priorities for the week before the week starts, and then use those to inform their to-dos for each day that they're going to set for the week. So you saw this previously. So setting priorities for the year and quarter, not everyone does that. Many do the month, but nearly everyone in the audience does the week, and all of the high performers do the week. So they're really laying out, hey, these are the things I want to achieve this week. And then those each day influence what they're setting out to achieve each day. And we saw that there was kind of 2 lists, right? There's the longer work list that needs to be planned a little bit. And then there's the quick to-do list, calling people back and things you can do in under 10 minutes. So that longer list needs to be juggled around the calendar each day, which I'll also show you some thoughts on. So that was the second thing we learned. And then juggling around the calendar each day means estimating time, and a smaller set of the audience were doing this, and individuals set their own order of to-dos. So everyone plans their own day differently. And on the previous video, I showed you the profiles. And so assuming you've got these tasks to do today, and 3 of them are pointing towards 2 priorities, you can see that there. And then you'd go through and you say, right, what's my planned time that I think it's going to take to get those things done today, or the portion of them that I want to get done today. And then you add that up and you say, okay, I've got 5 hours and 15 minutes of work in this example. And then if I add that up and also take into account my quick list, I've got calls and bookings and things I need to do, my quick to-dos. And then I look at my calendar, and then there's this thing called an allowance, which I'll explain in a minute. And you can see, okay, if I try and achieve all of this, I'm going to finish at 8:45 tonight, which might be a good thing, might be a bad thing. But knowing that before your day starts is the power. And then during the Q&A, asking people who do this, where does it go wrong, or what do they learn? There's kind of 3 mistakes. So one is over planning the day without realizing it. So if you don't actually add all the numbers up and add the calendar time up, you sort of set a plan for the day, and it might be having you finish at 10 o'clock at night, and your intention is to finish at 6 p.m. And you just don't realize it because the to-do list looks doable until you go through and add up the time for each thing. The other one is the allowance. So everyone's role is a little bit different. So if you work in HR, you may have to allow 1.5 to 2.5 hours per day for just those interruptions, right? Things you can't plan for. People who just need your time, whether it's advice to the executive or staff that need to come and talk to you about some problems they're having. You just need to be available. And then that changes for different roles. So for COOs, it's typically around an hour a day. If you're in R&D, it could be as low as half an hour a day. You sort of set out your plan, get on with your day, and you don't have too many other people interrupting you. Product management, my sort of role, it's about half an hour to 45 minutes a day. The rest of the day, I can pretty much lay out and get on with it, which is great. The third insight we picked up from the audience, and again, the high performers were really big on this out of the 25 nationalities, is not to book any back-to-back meetings. And you see all sorts of trends here, 50-minute meetings, and you'll hear in a moment, shorter meetings and never longer than 20 minutes. And meetings starting at odd times. So a bit of a trend off the Scrum and Agile movement, I guess. So meetings starting at 7 minutes past the hour or 5 minutes past the hour and so forth, and always finishing before the hour. So you've got time to recap, get your thoughts down, and then also get your mind ready for the next meeting. So no back-to-back meetings. I thought that was an interesting common theme coming out of all of those interviews. This is interesting. Top habit number 4, people taking a proactive approach to investing in relationships and themselves and doing things together. So creating shared experiences, right? So instead of going for a run by myself, I'll do it with these colleagues on a Monday and these folks on a Wednesday and these folks on a Friday. So you're creating an experience with other people and taking time to reach out, support, ask questions, give compliments, participate in social media that doesn't necessarily benefit you, but contributes to what other people are trying to achieve. And then, of course, doing something nice for yourself every day, which I think you've picked up I'm pretty good at with the whole volleyball, coffee, sailing setup, living at the beach here. So interesting that that came out as a big, important thing for the high performers in the group, and more so than, say, some of the other folks I interviewed in the audience. And then lastly, there's an increasing emphasis on time boxing communications because we're getting overwhelmed with it. And remember when email came out, replaced the fax machine in '96, it was totally acceptable to respond to an email within 7 days. And then it took a while for that to move to 3 days. I remember quite clearly that journey, people chasing me up. And now it's like instant chat, just ridiculous. And of course, now we have instant chat. So another one from the high performers is communications is not really working on anything or getting things done. So I'll time box it to an hour a day. And that'll force me to be really disciplined the way I prioritize and respond to communications. And as part of that discipline in this subset of high performers, had a very precise way of filing email correspondence, which I found interesting. So I wrote out the sort of summary that mapped across to what each of them was saying. And that's it here. So they run 6 email folders, and one for quick bills and payments they have to make, and you can read them there, right? So what's something urgent I have to do, a bit like Covey, and what are other to-dos that I may be able to delegate, read later, no action, and then a tendency to unsubscribe and keep track of what you've unsubscribed to. So that was interesting. Some people also have a 7th folder that they've delegated. So they've already done the action and it's for follow-up, follow-up/delegation. So interesting thoughts. So instead of running this, endless long inbox that we use search to get our way around. And then one of my old Viking friends, I just thought I'd include it almost word for word here. Thought he was amazing, high performer, running a country for one of the big 4 consulting firms, and has always been at the top of his game since I've known him. And we did some training in France together. I think it's when we first really hung out, when we were both with Accenture back then. So his mantras here on this communication. So he time boxes. He's one of the time box folks. And then if it's a CC email, he won't read it. So I've met a lot of people over the years who have adopted this policy. If you just copy me in on something, don't expect me to read it. I'm too busy. And he lets his colleagues know that. He flat out does not read emails from people he doesn't know or get consumed in that. And he just unsubscribes straight away or asks his assistant to do that and file it in folder number 6 there. So yeah, it doesn't even need, if he hasn't been introduced or have some sort of relationship with the person, then he's not opening correspondence from them. It's similar to how you would handle postmail. Got some here to go through. Yeah, I tend not to even open stuff that's not addressed to me personally or from someone I recognize, right? Straight into the trash can. Same approach for email here. And then he emphasizes how email is such a one-way communication method and really encourages people to reach out and book a meeting to solve problems and discuss things, and more use email as a follow-up. And I call it playback. I'm well known for doing the playback. So have the call, have the meeting, bang, do the playback straight afterwards, preferably in Strata rather than adding more to the email noise, but that's another story. And then he keeps all meetings to 20-minute maximum. So can't solve it in 20 minutes. There's something wrong. There's not enough prep. There's not enough shared information prior. Not enough clarity. So keep it to 20 or do 20 and then have another meeting if we need to and make the next meeting more effective by having the first one. So that's his approach instead of having 40, 45 1-hour meetings. Really interesting, and starts them all 5 past the hour, a little bit like Agile. No excuse to be late. You got a 5-minute gap before your next appointment. Very interesting. So please let me know which of those thoughts you relate to and any other tips you have. And in this video series, we'll start to propose certain questions and problems targeting specific aspects of the design. And we'll do that through the next few videos, and then I'll start to share some early concept designs for your feedback on. But I first want to get the team applying your feedback as we're going through this journey. So please jump on the comments. If you're on the YouTube video, maybe hit like and just put some comments on there. I have a lot of people write back to me privately with their thoughts and feedback. It's all great, but what it doesn't do is stimulate conversation on the group. So if you're on the LinkedIn group or the Facebook group, just please put it there. You don't need to run it by me first, whether you disagree, agree, or you have a different way of thinking about it. I had 2 people write long responses to me explaining how they related to all 4 profiles at different points in the day on that last video. And I think that's just good information to share. There's no right or wrong here. We'll just share it together, and everything helps. And it also helps other people feel confident that they can give their feedback if you share yours. So yeah, please let me know your thoughts, and we'll just evolve this together. And it should be a lot of fun. Thank you very much.